there's two phases to growth. There's an expansion phase and a stabilization phase, right? I skipped my stabilization phase because I didn't expand enough. So I got the 10, I got the 6, I got a 5, I got a bunch of land at auctions. We bought 1,700 acres up North Ontario. We're going to start building a city. We're doing stuff out there. You know, like we're talking to architects that deal with Dubai, and you know, I know people that know people, right? Like that's the fucking, when you go high up in the industry, it's a small group of people.
Hello, and welcome back to the Very Real Estate Effect podcast, a show dedicated to real estate investing right here in Quebec. And today, indeed, we have real estate investor from Quebec. Hey, Alec, how's it going?
Very well, thanks.
All right, so Alec is the president, founder of Home Group, based here somewhere in Quebec, in this wonderful province, and he's got some really fun experience to share in real estate investing. So that's what we're going to get to. But before we do, I just want to remind everyone of a few things. We organize some monthly or some events every 6 weeks. Come and join us. Find them on meetup.com or on our website, realestateeffect.ca. And also, I invite you to join the Patreon page. I've listened to what you said, and you wanted to have access, you wanted to have more information, and to do some fun events just for us. So join the Patreon page at patreon.com/realestateeffect. And also there'll be the link in the description, in the comments and the notes and all that. So I look forward to seeing you there. And when you do join, we'll get on a call, just the two of us. So Alec, first off, how in the world did you get started in real estate investing?
After I decided to be the richest person in the world, I started looking for a mentor, right? Because you see in these books like The Magic Ladder to Success or How to Transcend Life or You Too Can Be Prosperous, right? Those types of things tell you that you should have someone in your life that's ahead of you that's going to help you get to the next step. So I was actively looking for a mentor. I wasn't looking for a real estate mentor. Okay. I was looking for somebody that was going to help me make my company, bring it to that multiple billion-dollar valuation. And when I met my mentor, I said, listen, I have this company, I have this plan, it's in a good industry, I'm going to make billions. And he said, have you ever made 100 grand? And I was like, no. And he's like, well, before you make $1 billion, you need to make $1 million. And before you make $1 million, you need to make 100 grand. And that's the value of a mentor, is reading 1,000 books didn't actually make me successful, right? It was taking action based on that information. And a mentor was able to tell me like, oh, this is where you are going wrong.
Yeah. Well, they're able to put you back on the track and tell you the blunt truth exactly as it is. And it's fun that he told you, like, did you make 100K? Okay, so you met this guy, and then what? He took you under his wing?
Not at all. Not at all. He didn't even talk to me at first. When I met him, I was like starstruck almost, because I was like, fuck, I've been looking for a mentor for 2 years. And then this is the guy, right? His name's Alfonso. And I met him, and he's from Ottawa, and he's homeless, and he made millions of dollars selling hip hop clothes. And then now he's in real estate. Super interesting guy, right? And when he was talking, all I heard in my head was, that's the guy, that's the guy, that's the guy. I didn't even listen to what he was saying, right? Which you should listen to the things that the mentors say. That's kind of part of it. But I was just so excited. So I had to harass him on Facebook for like 6 months. I added all his friends. I liked all his comments. I shared all his posts. And now Facebook thinks I live in this guy's fucking house. So then he messages me and he says, how come my whole Facebook is just you? And I'm like, well, I study Tai Lopez. I post 50 times a day. And I'm actually trying to get your attention actively. I'm glad it's finally worked. Right? Yeah. And it worked. So he said, listen, I'm starting this thing. It's private. It's not something I'm talking about. And I think you might be good. I'm curious about you, right? Yeah. So that was 4 years ago, and that's evolved into Wealth Genius, which is like a real estate education business that he runs that I'm not a part of at all. I'm like I'm like the poster child in a way. Like he points at me and says, like, look at he did it, but I'm not actively involved in the business. So
Mhm.
I recommend people, they ask me all the time, how do I get good at this? I'm like, do you know this? They're like, no, like, go learn it. Then we'll talk about how to get good
Exactly.
at it.
Exactly. I'm glad you said that because so many people that have had that exact question, and I'm like, well, you want to go buy a $500,000 building, but you're not going to spend 5K in coaching, learning, and classes to learn what the hell you're supposed to do. That's the first signal to me that you're not serious. So anyways, you found him, and then what? So you educated yourself, but at some point, like, did you actually start to get deals done? Like, what are you buying?
Great.
What's your
So I
company?
had already read a bunch of books, and when
Hmm.
he taught us, like we went to a 3 day like intensive, right? I brought my fiance, who she runs all my companies. Like she's amazing. I feel like actually every time we start a corp, one of us is president, one of us is secretary, and we go back and forth. So actually, of Home Group, she's the president. I'm the treasurer secretary. Fellas, if you have a wife, make her the president. Okay, don't fucking
Wise
worry about it.
advice.
It's just semantics anyway. You
Yeah.
all are making money together. It's just a title. You still have to do work. So, anyway, so we met Alfonso and we go to this 3 day thing, and he's teaching all kinds of different strategies, wealth building stuff. So you can get it in books, YouTube, whatever. He teaches it for free on YouTube, and then he says like, I have this coaching thing that I want to start, and it's cost money. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, I'll just pirate it. That's what I thought to myself. Like, I'll just
What?
fucking find it online and
Oh,
download it for free. Pirating, right? Like
yeah,
Pirate Bay. Like,
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
don't, I'm from like a punk rock skateboard hippie thing. Like, everything should be free, man. That's where I'm from. Now I'm a capitalist. So I had to like go through an identity shift, right?
Yeah.
As I realized, like, the world is a capitalist world. Why am I not participating? And I'm just pissed off, right? Like, still, I was having a debate on Facebook, right? People, first off, if you want to win in Canada, you need to be in my Facebook because all the players that are running the country are my friends, right? So, like, the second thing is this guy's talking and he's like, landlords are so greedy. And I'm like, you don't know anything about economics, do you? And he's like, well, some landlords don't raise their prices. Like, they're good people. And I'm like, no, they're idiots. Like, they're probably losing money, right?
Yeah.
Like the inflation that the government's saying it's, I don't know, fucking 10-16%. Like, they're lying. It's fucking 3 times that, right? So people the money needs to exist. Like, I want to rent you a place. I want you to live in the nicest place. Our company, Home Group, home stands for heaven on Mother Earth. We want people to live on Mother Earth. We want
Yeah.
them to in heaven. That's what we want, right? But like, if you can't afford $800, maybe go find a place that's $400 and
Yeah.
fucking accept it. Like, you don't
Mhm.
need to live downtown if you can't get a job. There's jobs to make money. There's ways to make money. It's never been easier with the internet
Yeah.
for people to make money. Like, I started a company last week and I've already made $4,000 with it as a joke. You know what I mean? Like, haha, my friends are like broke, and I'm like, look what I would do if I was you, and then I do it,
And
and
then
they're
you
like,
do
you
it,
have
you
so
show
much
them that it
money.
actually works, and yeah, it gives them a good kick in the butt. Um,
Yeah.
so so you buy some multifamily, single family homes, or
No,
what's your
fuck single
trademark?
families. I was
Yeah,
just the reason because we were supposed to do this podcast like half an hour ago and I was late, right?
it's
Because I was
okay.
talking to one of my contractors who's here. I'm on my farm and I have all these guys working around me all the time. And we were just shooting the shit. And essentially, he was saying, like, yeah, I'm having my second kid. I want to get a house. I was like, dude, I'll just buy you a triplex and lend you the money. And you can lend it back, give it back to me later. And he was like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah,
why would you do that for me? I'm like, you don't understand. Like, I'm going to make money. You're going to be happier. You work for me. I want you to be happy.
yeah,
Also, the triplex is right beside my farm. Like, that'd be great. You know what I mean? So I always have what I want, what I need, and then I just plug people into it. And like, if what I'm learning is how to find the right people, right? Because they're birds of a feather flock together. And
yeah.
like, I've got a particularly unique plumage that I've developed where I'm kind of like a peacock met a phoenix flying through a turbine engine or something. There's not a lot of birds on Earth like me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it seems like it. We're discovering that. I like it. So you just went all in into multifamily. Is that all in
That's
Quebec?
right. So we spent a year making offers, doing the work. Then our first was a 6 unit. We bought it for 105K. We refied a year later for 330. I bought a 10 unit for 180K. You make money on the buy, right? Those are crazy prices. That's why I'm
Yeah,
so good at this.
yeah.
Then we refied that at 350, and it's not even done. I'm still working on it. I'm going to refi it again.
Yay.
The ARV is 600K. I bought it for 150 2 years ago, right? I'm sitting at home fucking playing piano, making hundreds of grand, and
Okay,
people
wait.
are working
That
hard. Right?
that deal. How did you find it? How did you close a 10 unit at 150K? Was that your full purchase price? Do you have a balance of
You
sale?
need
Do
to
you get sale
fucking
of
study,
financing?
bro. I'm not going to sit here and teach
Yeah.
people. I'll tell you the fundamentals, the
No,
facts,
but
right?
just tell me how. Tell us about that deal in particular. Like, walk us kind of through it. I'm sure it's a funny story.
Well, everything in my life is a very hard to explain funny story. And that's part of what I teach, right? I'm a big believer in reality isn't real, right? Like you'll hear people like Elon Musk say that and nobody
Mhm.
acknowledges it, right? Like electrons and molecules are just things that you can change. That's what science is, right? So when we talk about the science of success or the law of success,
Mhm.
right, we're talking about something that isn't actionable. So I can tell you the steps and the mechanisms. I have case studies and stuff that I can show. But the point is this: I made the decision, I got the information, and I didn't fucking give up. Then I got it done, right?
Yeah.
That's the key. Now I'll
Yeah.
tell you, we found a realtor. We told him we're investors. He showed us some deals. We
Mhm.
made some offers. This one, we had it under contract for 8 months. We kept chipping away at the purchase price. We finally bought it cash,
Yeah.
refied the first fucking day that I bought it and got money in my hand. So I
Yeah.
closed the deal and made 20 grand,
Yeah.
right? To explain that to someone that doesn't understand the fundamentals of banking and the
Yeah.
industry is a
Yeah.
waste of
Of
time.
time.
So I'm not a low level person. Like I want your viewers that are new to real estate to go study real estate.
Yeah.
I was a musician that said no to a professional recording contract because I care more about freedom. And I pivoted and said, I'm going to be the one on the other side of the table. And that pushed me into crypto, real estate, tech, right? And now I'm sitting on a farm showing the world this is how you live on earth, like this, by
Mhm.
example. Take a good fucking look. I make videos every day. Hundreds of people watch, and I don't say shit, but they watch them to see if I'm full of shit or not. And guess what?
Yeah.
I've been consistently me my whole life. People think it's an act because they're acting. That's their fault. You were
Yeah.
taught in
Well,
society to
they.
survive, you have to be a fake.
Mhm. Well, they view the world like that, and they think that everyone else is as well. But clearly, it's not the case. So, okay, so you focused on the on the multifamilies, and now what are you doing now in terms of deal, and where are you at in your mindset? Because I think that's more of the important part than the actual deal details that no one really cares about.
There's two phases to growth. There's an expansion phase and a stabilization phase, right? I
Yeah.
skipped my stabilization phase because I didn't expand enough. So I got the 10, I got the 6, I got a 5, I got a bunch of land at auctions. We bought 1,700 acres up North Ontario. We're going to start building a city. We're doing stuff out there. Like we're talking to architects that deal with Dubai and I know people that know people, right? Like that's
Mhm.
the fucking when you go high up in the industry, it's a small group of people, right? And
Yeah.
I just went, hey, I want to dominate the planet with love. So how do I do that? And then there's this quote, love is God in action. And I'm not a big like you should believe in God. I don't give a shit what people believe, but I think you should acknowledge the fact that you've been lied to about the value of money because value is important. Money is
Mhm.
not,
Yeah.
right? That's why, as a new investor, you should be looking for value add deals, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But money's infinite, bro. It's like you make it up.
So so you want to develop a city up there? Tell us
We're
about
doing,
that.
yeah. I mean, what does that mean? How does cities fucking happen? Who makes cities? How is it one guy? Is it the
No,
community
of
that just
course.
keeps building up more and more? It takes a village to build a city. But what I'm saying is,
It takes water.
we got big projects. Like I'm building a retreat center in Ottawa. I got my hands in the pie. Like I said, I'm a numbers guy. I know business strategy. I know industries. I know that real estate is pretty much a fundamental of every industry,
Hmm.
right? Like
Yeah.
every industry, like even the metaverse has servers that are on land or
Yeah.
a boat.
They
or a
have to.
plane, right?
Yeah.
There's something, there's space, real world space that's being taken up. So I think about, those things in the most basic terms: space, time. Those are my two main variables that I look at the world in.
Okay, and you've really shifted also from the residential to doing some commercial
Never
just
did
because your
residential. I went
version.
multis. I'm
Yeah.
building multis and I'm
Hmm.
acquiring multis. But
Yeah.
like I said, I did double expand and now I'm in stabilization. So I've got a bunch of buildings, right? Some of them aren't full.
Hmm.
I don't like to talk about my numbers too much, but I had a milestone that I'm trying to reach
Hmm.
that I will definitely reach for sure, absolutely, before the end of the next year,
Okay.
right? And then the rest of my career is going to be like kind of more like a Warren Buffett style where I'm doing slow and steady wins the race. I had to work hard as fuck for 4 years, right? And I gave up. I didn't play. I'm a musician first, right? I
Yeah.
did that for 10 years. That's how I figured out how to make money, was selling tickets to my own shows. But like um you figure out, like, I have to sacrifice something short term to get something long term.
Or a
And
very long-term
people,
gain.
yeah, so now I'm in that long-term game, or I'm about to be, where I have a team and I have contractors, I have people, I have connections, where on the way home from, I went to the movie theater to do a sing-along Grease with my girlfriend yesterday, and on the way home someone's trying to sell me an oil business out of Vancouver for 13 million over text, right? So it's like I'm in a totally different fucking universe than
Yeah.
everyone else in that movie theater that's singing Grease. We're singing the
Yeah.
same songs,
Yeah.
right? But I'm sitting in a different chair.
Yeah.
That's what people don't understand, how the world really works.
I can tell from your persona and character that you would have great ease in raising in finding partners. And for a lot of people, like, the constraint is always financial. Oh, I'm always $2 million short, or if I had more money I could do more deals. Can you kind of tell us, like, how do you go about it? Because I bet you have a
They're
lot of.
wrong. That's
Yeah.
wrong. If you had
Okay.
more money, you would fuck up more deals because you're an idiot. That's what you need to accept, that, right? Like, if you're watching this and you're not actually doing a deal right now, then you should stop, acknowledge that you're an amateur, not a professional, and amateurs need to learn from a professional. And then you're in the amateur phase for a while before you become a professional, right? So people
Yeah.
are trying to be professionals. They're trying to skip the amateur phase. Like, you want to be a doctor, you go to school for 8 years, right? I did in 4 years what my mentor did in 15 because of him. People
Hmm.
are not putting enough weight. Like, we have 20 minutes to talk. Why am I bringing up mentorship? Why am I bringing up mindset? When you're asking me about details of the fundamentals of the mechanics of my deal, and I'm saying, yeah, that's all fine. Why am I talking about who do you listen to? And like, people in my life don't tell me they're broke. I don't fucking call those people. The reason
Yeah.
I have such a good time raising capital is because I call people with money. Simple. If someone has a fucking $1,000,000 and I can double 100 grand in 2 years,
They like
I'm
that.
doing them. I'm doing them a favor. I'm a
Yeah.
good person that's
Yeah.
doing good,
Hmm.
and I know that. And I'm excited also, right? Ed Milet is one of my favorite guys. The Power of One More, great book. He talks about sales as an emotional thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm excited that I'm fucking building up the new world. And I'm excited that I'm creating heaven on earth. And I'm excited that I'm able to do that while raising a family on an organic farm. And I don't have to leave most of the time because people want to work. My contractor wants to be a contractor, right? So I want him to just be him really fucking well.
Yeah. And you were willing to take all the steps to make that happen with him, and hence the triplex next door.
Right. That's a
Yeah.
relevant because it just happened. But
Hmm.
like, I'm actually learning about leadership that, like, sometimes I give people too much information at once and it shuts them down because their brain isn't prepped. The soil isn't ready for the seed.
They're not ready to
I've got
receive.
rare seeds.
Yeah.
I've got the rarest. I've got the highest quality mind info seeds on earth. But if I tell people stuff that they're not ready to hear, it's hurtful. It's like
Yeah.
trying to lift up 400 pounds at the gym when you can only lift 100. You are going to
Because
get hurt.
you're putting all their beliefs back into question. They've been believing this for 40 years, and all of a sudden, within a 30-second sentence, you shook that equilibrium. They're not ready. And some people just
Yeah.
don't want to. I've also realized that, like, there's so many people I've wanted to help, and then I become almost more concerned about helping them than they are about helping themselves. And then you can't do anything for these people. Like
So
that's on
let
them.
me tell you something about this. I was in therapy yesterday. I do therapy twice a week. And I learned about myself that the reason I love helping people so much is because I don't think I can actually help myself. I gave up on I can feel good. I gave up on that. Feeling good is a fucking cop out. I don't give a shit. I want to feel fulfilled and proud, not
Yeah.
happy. Happy's fine. But like, so I acknowledge like I can't make myself feel good. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make other people feel good. And
Hmm.
that's why you hear this idea the most miserable people are the quickest to serve, right? Because we know how to alleviate other people's pain, but we don't know how to alleviate our own. So you're telling me what I'm hearing from you is I don't believe that I can help myself to the extent that I want, but I've already helped myself to the extent that others need. So I'm
Yeah.
going to do that. That makes you, in my opinion, you're an altruistic person. You're like the rarest breed of person, right? And that's like these meetups I've heard about. That's how I heard about you is these meetups that you're doing.
Hmm.
And the first thing I thought was like, man, I can't wait to go to one of those things. You know, if I wasn't so hard pressed to leave the farm, we would have already met in
Yeah,
person. You know,
we will. We
we will
will.
for sure. Why not? I
We
mean,
will.
you're only like an hour and 10 minutes away from me.
No, exactly. And then it's I'm due to come to the well, to your neck of the woods in Quebec, wherever you are. Yeah,
That's it. The mystery farm in Quebec.
the mystery farm, exactly. All right, so what's coming up next? Like you clearly have some big projects. Where are you taking all this? What's your objective?
Jet and a circus tent is the objective,
Is
right?
what?
I st-
What do you
Jet, get a jet. I like the military planes that you see in
Yeah.
Fast and Furious with like the fucking stuff shred the cars drive out. One of those would be cool. And then a circus tent, so when I get places, I can set it up and I have space, and then I can just sing and dance and meet people and do deals, right? I'm going to be like an international nomad, where all week I'm on the farm and all weekend I'm somewhere else on the planet building the new economy, right? Like people don't understand Web3 at all. And I've been on that shit for over a decade. Like
Yeah.
I'm serving people they don't even need to know. I'm
Can
one
you
of those guys that like
can you define
I went
Web3 for all those who are listening?
define Web3. Yes, I think everyone knows you can take a file on your computer and copy it, right? You can take a song or a picture and make a copy. Web3, you can't fucking do that. That's why it matters.
It's the NFTs.
Yeah. So if I like Radiohead did a good thing. They made an album with 1,000 copies, right?
Wow. Yeah.
Only 1,000 people can listen to that fucking album at once. If I want to give it to you, I don't have it anymore, like a
Yeah.
real physical thing. That's Web3. That's what matters, right? It's also there's transparency that comes with that. So there's accountability that comes with that. So then there's like a power dynamic that the people who have been doing, stuff that the public wouldn't love, they can't hide anymore. So they
Yeah.
have to change, right? Or,
Yeah.
persecution.
I like that you bring up the accountability because that's one angle that I'm really hoping it will bring more of, and it will because there's going to be transparency and you can't hide it anymore.
Yeah. So like I used to be the guy, like I'm going to be singing in the microphone, preaching about the new world. But then I realized people couldn't even eat. Like everyone's hungry. Right? Most of the world is actually hungry. I think this year we had the lowest level of famine on earth ever. So like, yay us. But like there's still problems out there. And here I am thinking like I wish everyone was singing and dancing. I was privileged. I grew up in a suburb with a fridge that was full of food, right?
Hmm.
And I meet people who grow up in the inner city and they don't sing and dance. And I think, what's your problem? Oh,
Yeah.
your needs aren't met,
Yeah.
right? So then you see what are your needs? And then you go to, okay, housing, food. So living on an organic farm and building housing for people that's affordable in what I think is the best country ever, right? I think Canada's
Yeah.
culturally at the forefront of globalization. And like maybe we don't have the most tech or we don't have the most whatever, but like the people in Ottawa, if the whole world was like Ottawa, we literally have the best planet ever. Those other planets would pale in comparison to us.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that. 'Cause I'm an immigrant. I grew up in the French Caribbean, which is not bad either. But I'm so Yeah, yes, but I'm so happy to be here, and I wouldn't go back just because people don't realize the amount of space and resources there is, and just from like a water standpoint. And I've tried to explain this to Canadians, and they always look at me like, "Eh?" And it's like, yeah, you have a quarter of the freshwater reserves of the world for right now, like just like 36 or 38 million people. Like it's just from that standpoint, it's absolutely amazing. And I agree with you that I think Canada is one of the best countries in the world, best places to be in, especially when you see all the madness that's happening elsewhere.
Well, yeah, you look at these McLean's studies, and we're always at the top. People want to live here. People want to study here.
Yeah.
People want to have families here. And like playing music in Ottawa was a cool way to meet people. Like I met people from every country, everywhere, every culture, every religion. I heard stories from everywhere, man. Like the world is not what you think it is. The media is very biased. Like there's such a small group of people that control the entire mainstream. The internet goes through one cable under the ocean, right? Somebody owns that shit.
Yeah.
Right? There's stuff I can't say if I want this podcast to go live. I can't speak
Hmm.
what I think, right?
Well, we'll take it
That's
offline
why secret
afterwards.
societies exist.
Yeah.
Because yeah. But the church, this is why secret societies exist, okay? The church was prosecuting science. So scientists who knew better had to fucking pretend that they didn't, right?
And they went
So when
underground.
you meet someone, ask yourself, yeah, underground. Ask yourself, how underground is this guy? Does he skateboard? Does he play punk rock? Does he fucking hands in the dirt? Like, you know what I mean? My music studio used to be under Rideau Street in Ottawa, right? I used to have people like, can I smoke crack in here? Like, no, dude, get out. And then
Yeah.
come back and do your verse.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep the smell outside.
But you don't understand, like it's interesting what I'm saying because rich, affluent people do drugs.
Oh
The
yeah.
underground is permeated with all class, right? So there's a class system above the street, right? You go to Nordstrom to buy the nice shit. But when you're in the fucking the thick of it, I like to say, you're in the pubs with all the people and everyone's yelling, everybody's there.
Yeah.
Everybody.
From every strat, from every category, from every background, from every gender, from every absolutely. I completely agree with you with that.
And I own those
Oh,
spaces, bro. I walk into those spaces. I grew up in a bar, right? So I know like how to fucking get what I want in that environment. The world is mostly chaos, and I thrive in chaos. That's why most people jump ship after they make their first million on my team, right? They're like, your life is not okay, bro. I'm like, my
but
life
what?
is
Why?
awesome
Why do they jump ship?
because they make enough money. They're happy. They don't want to be uncomfortable anymore. They reach their growth threshold,
Yeah.
right? And I don't care. Like
Good for
I'm
them.
gonna be multi-trillionaire person. Like at one point there was no billionaires, right? Now there's a bunch of thousands of billionaires. So I'm thinking about the future. I have a 50-year plan. People don't understand. Well, I'm gonna be so wealthy. I don't mean tomorrow. You know how
Yeah.
long it takes to serve a billion people $1 of value?
Well, depends on what kind of how. Yeah. That's a very good question. It's a very good question. Ooh. All right, that's gonna be food for thought. We're gonna have to take it from here. If people want to reach out to you, what's the best way to get in touch, man?
I only use Facebook for my interaction with the public. I
Okay.
have Instagram. I barely use it. I have someone that manages it for me, right? I use Telegram for work and Facebook for the rest of my life.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, so they can find you on
Don't call
Facebook
me.
and take it from there. No, no, we will not share your phone number.
Don't. I don't even
No.
know it.
All right, man. Thank you. This was quite a different episode. I really like it actually. It's good. It's good to thank you. Thank you for sharing and just for being you. That's what that's what's the most genuine, and I think that's where you and I intersect. So,
Yeah, I'm
um,
ready. I'm ready to come up from hiding. Now that I'm having my second kid, I'm obviously whatever. I don't have a lot of time. My priority is my family, right? But I spend my whole life studying information because everyone around me was wrong all the time about my experience, which was I can get what I want immediately, no problem, right? Like I manifest everything, so does everyone else, but they're not aware of it. That's the problem. You didn't study your own experience. You're just taking it for granted. Like if somebody tells you this is how the world works, they're wrong. Who the fuck are they? Are they an
so
authority on physics, on reality? Elon Musk is a physicist that's changing society. He says he's not even sure that this is real. Who the fuck are you to tell me reality's real? That's what people need to get from this.
Mm-hmm.
I made my life the way I wanted, and people aren't doing that, and it makes me sad.
Yeah, but and not everyone is ready and able to, man. That's the thing, and you and I both know it. Like, anyways, we're gonna go in a circle here. Alec, it's been a real pleasure. I will see you very soon because I'm gonna come in your neck of the woods because we need to meet. That's what we're gonna do.
Absolutely, bro.
All right, for everyone listening, thank you for this fun episode, for staying till the end. Share it with a friend. There's definitely, at least 24 people who need to hear this from Alec. Send it to them and just say it'll change their life. All right, thank you, and we'll tune in next week for another episode. Thank you, Alec.
Have a great day.